What's up, guys, and welcome here to Town Hall Heroes episode number 55. I'm Solid Jake, and as always, I'm joined by several handsome gentlemen. And going down the line, we've got our guest this week, Mr. Glaurung. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dudes. It's awesome to be here.
So, for anyone not familiar with you, it's not your first time here on the show, I know. Just give a brief, very quick rundown of who you are and what you've been up to.
Who am I? Well, I play this game, Heroes of the Storm, a little bit too much. I'm on the team Tempo Storm. We compete in tournaments, and we do okay sometimes.
Sometimes.
So modest.
And, yeah, I mean, I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd, and I love video games. So that's basically who I am.
Also
And
very
Rush,
good real estate.
and Rush. And Rush. Just for Sham 2.
What's your favorite weapon in Lord of the Rings?
My favorite weapon?
Yep.
Golem.
It's hard to say.
Golem?
Let's say Sting, dude. I love the.
That's such a cop-out. Disappointed.
Oh, wow.
Moving over to Kevin.
Glamdring then. Glamdring.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
did you
Is
name
that better?
Did you name yourself after the dragon in Tolkien books?
Back when I played StarCraft 2, that was the first time I read The Silmarillion, and I read Children of Húrin after that, and I was like, Glaurung's such like a terrifying, like, monster.
He's a dragon.
And,
He's awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. So then I just decided to name myself after it.
Very good. This is why we're friends.
But I guess Glamdring is my favorite weapon, Jake.
Okay. I can appreciate that.
But I like Sting. You don't have to be mean.
Okay.
He writes really good songs.
You don't have to be mean.
Mr. Sham Bam, Sham 2, Kevin Pearson. What's new with
This
you?
is the worst week of my life.
Till today?
Today is gonna, well, starting today is gonna be the worst week of my life.
Why is that, Kev?
I can't make puns, Jake.
And why is
can't
that?
Make puns because I think last week we made a couple of bets, and we said if we got first place in something, I wasn't gonna pun for a week. Zoya is gonna have to purchase a costume and wear it. I think, Jake, you're wearing a mustache.
Or
Not wearing
something.
it. He's shaving the rest of his beard so that he has.
Well, he still has to wear it. And Cooby is, I don't know what Cooby's gonna do. I think he's gotta
He's got to grow his
grow
hair
out
out.
his hair.
something
He's gonna go
like
Cubimus Maximus with his
Yeah,
hair.
Grow-
I gotta
grow
channel
your
the
hair
full
out this
Maximus. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
So
I should find pictures.
what that thing was that we won the #1 spot for community show for Heroes of the Storm in 2014 from the Twitch Community Awards. So guys, round of applause to all of you.
Yeah.
But of course, I guess we all have to thank our fans and everybody who voted.
Yeah.
That really means so much to us that we won this award. There are so many other great shows in this community, but the fact that we rose to #1 really means a lot to us. Of course, you know, we spent every Tuesday and now every Wednesday bringing you what we think is really awesome information, and we also just kind of sit around and mess with each other all day.
For over a year, mind you.
For over a
It's
year
insane.
now.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, we started. We're the only show that's still going that started prior to the alpha. There were a few other shows that started like within the same month as us. They're all done. They've all stopped. So we're the longest running, and I guess there's a reason for that. So
It's been a lot of work, but I'm really proud of myself and you guys.
thank you, Glaurung. So modest.
But so that's gonna be a thing because I have to cast this weekend, and I
What are
don't
you
know.
casting, bro?
I'm casting Titan Arena 2. You know that tournament that Tempo Storm got second place last time.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
Titanic defeat.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
He's taking
Thank
his
you,
place.
thank you, thank
He's
you,
taking his
Mike.
place.
Stop.
this is disgusting.
Can we get Dread on, please? Come on.
Just stand up, back up, and slide over.
Shift the chairs around, but yeah. So it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be a week.
Be a week.
Who are you casting with? Has that been
I'm
announced yet?
casting with Mr. Solid Jack Egg. We announced it earlier this week,
Cool
so
beans.
Yeah,
It's
it'll
gonna
be
be
a fun time.
really, really, really fun. Jake and I casted once before, and it worked really well.
We cast one series together, and that was it.
One series,
So,
and it worked really well. So
yeah.
we'll see how we work for 2 days.
yeah, once we get
Um,
in the groove, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be 21st and 22nd this weekend. We already have, I think, 28 some teams, and normally we see a spike right before. So I'm really excited to see if we could possibly break into a round of 64. Obviously, with a lot of buys, but
It's going to be cool because there's going to be a lot of Heroes of the Dorm team playing.
That's actually so. I haven't seen too many of them sign up, but if you guys are listening right now, if you're part of a Heroes of the Dorm squad, this is going to be a great time for you to test out your Heroes of the Dorm squad, or at least get some battle experience. Right. Glau, you guys can definitely probably attest to the fact that you need to have that type of team cohesion and play it enough and get the experience to actually get that team kind of working together.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think if you're looking to play in a tournament as big as not Titan Arena, because that's not as big as the college tournament.
Yeah.
But Heroes of the Dorm is an insane tournament, and if you're going into that like unprepared, then you can't really expect to win. So I definitely would say to all the amateur college teams out there, like, try and play in every tournament you can.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that a bit later. Let's continue going through the introductions and going down to Cooby. What's new with you, my friend?
I actually have a question first. What happens if Kev says a pun?
He gets a tally.
Great.
That is a really good question. What happens?
Everything else is like it happens or it doesn't, but if
Tip
Kev
jar.
can just...
Tip jar times 5.
No, that's boring.
a lot.
It's a lot of money.
It's money. It's boring. I feel like we need to come up with a more hilarious repercussion.
Oh, I think I have one. Every time you say a pun, you have to like give Tempo Storm their reward money from the last Titan Arena. They could just go down the list.
Still haven't filled out.
PC.
Those forms still haven't filled out. Yeah. Yeah, I'll fill those forms right out for you and put Kevin Pearson down on the check.
All right, Cooby.
Legit face palm just happened.
What have you been up to?
Oh, jeez. Casting a little bit for ESL. We have the 4 teams locked in for the playoffs, so we're going to get into that in a little bit. Other than playing a bunch of heroes, I actually started playing some TF2 again. Going back to one of my old mainstays. Good fun. Getting ready for that Overwatch.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't come soon enough.
I know.
Tracer.
I'm actually starting to get really hyped about it. So,
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, just looking forward to the next week and the coming games for the playoffs. It's gonna be exciting.
All right, Mr. Zoya.
Well, to make up where Glaurung did like a horrible job, I am Zoya, the coach and manager of the best and most winningest Heroes of the Storm team, Tempo Storm. We had 3 first-place finishes this weekend, which is awesome. We ended up winning Ding It Invitational. We won Kings of the Storm Monthly, and then we won ESL Go for a Weekly of that weekend as well, which was really cool. Community was feeling like we were slumping there a bit, which was true. But then we came back and we rebounded quick. Because when you're taking second place and everything, you're slumping so hard. It's like a completely different team. Right?
We were playing so bad. Oh my god.
But we also released a house tour today. Glaurung and Dreadnought are both in the team house right now. Just linked it in chat if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I don't know. It was just been a lot of heroes this week and a little bit of Final Fantasy 14.
I'm in a similar boat. Reinstalled Final Fantasy, playing very little, playing primarily heroes, of course. But no, really, it just kind of boils down to casting a lot. We wrapped up Ding It. Ding It's been done. That was a good cast. Zoya Temple Storm did in fact take that. We'll talk a little bit more about the tournaments and stuff there, but job's done there, and I'm just going to be pushing forward on Twitch moving forward. Actually getting that 5th place spot in the individual streamer on the Twitch Stream Awards, I wasn't expecting that. There was so many people in that category. Wasn't expecting it, so everyone that voted for me, thank you very much. It's much appreciated, and that's hype, but that just fuels me to grow more. I just want to do more. And that's kind of what we're going to do moving forward. So just jumping right into the discussion, there's a lot of things that happened this week that that might not seem like it really matters a lot. Not even just this week, but the last 2 weeks. But the grounds are being set for Heroes of the Storm to get so much better as a competitive community. And Heroes of the Dorm is a huge part of that, and we're going to talk about that very soon. But Team Liquid has just released their forum, and I'm rocking their colors today in honor of them because they have now released a Heroes of the Storm forum. And I've been saying this for a long time. You look at League of Legends, they have solo mid. You look at Smashboards, that's what the Smash community has. Heroes just has Reddit, and Reddit's not really an ideal home. And there are people that are working hard to make more homes and stuff like that for the community, but having someone as big as Team Liquid that has such a massive user base that's already there in a game that relates so closely, like StarCraft 2, I think it's going to help us out a lot. And what are your guys' opinions? I mean, a lot of us come from StarCraft, but you guys think this is going to make a big difference?
Of course. I used Team Liquid forums a ton when I was playing StarCraft almost exclusively, so I'm very excited about that. I think you're absolutely right and hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a big deal in terms of organizing growth for the community moving forward.
As long as Team Liquid plays their cards right and really makes the push for this, for that to be the community. So, like, they have the Team Liquid brand, which is a big, like, it's huge, and from us StarCraft background people, we're just going to default go there. But that's not like forums are dying out as a whole. You don't really go to forums anymore. You can just go to Reddit right now. You can just look at stream chats, and that's really a great place to just get information. So hope as long as Team Liquid makes an effort to push their brand out to the Heroes community, and the people and in the community that are aware of Team Liquid do the same as well, I think we can make that a great home. But it won't be easy, I don't think.
No, it requires work. No matter how you look at it, you can't just say, here's a forum, and hope for it to succeed. They definitely have to cradle that fire and make it into, something big.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to see Team Liquid doing stuff, and I just really, so far the forum's been pretty active. I think I completely agree with Zoya that I think forums are a little bit on the dying end, but maybe this is the kick that we need because we really haven't had a forum that's blown up yet. So, I don't know. It's weird.
To date.
Yeah, nothing in Heroes to date, but it's weird. Do we need forums anymore?
If I was to be honest, I'd personally say no. But there's another emptiness that when I look back on Team Liquid days where I used to go that's not there. So I don't know what can fill that void as well. But even if I was still into StarCraft hardcore, I don't know if I'd be visiting Team Liquid every day like I used to. I used to go to TeamLiquid.net every single day and just look at the forums for hours.
Yeah.
And now I don't know with Reddit the way it works and with Twitch chats and stuff, I don't know if I would ever be that involved in a forum ever again.
I kind of think the subreddits existing for almost everything just kind of took the place of a forum. If we need information from the scene, it's you can usually check the subreddit and it'll be there. And that's how it is for almost every game now.
Let me make a counter argument immediately. Mm-hmm. The Reddit's great for things that are happening right now. So if you just want to know what's happening, you want to know what's popular, you go to Reddit. But if you want to just look for tournament listings, you just want to look for that guide or whatever. You want static information, the ultimate guide to Merc camps. You can't go to Reddit to find that. I mean, and that's the kind of thing you could sticky very easily on TL on a strategy forum for Heroes of the Storm.
For sure.
There
are definitely upsides and downsides, but I think a lot of the traffic that used to go to forums now goes to Reddit.
There's definitely a portion, but there's certain things that Reddit cannot perform as well as a forum.
So Hearthstone has a very successful forum, it looks like, that had to have been created very recently, yes? So there's still definitely a need for it.
Hearthstone has it because of their guide system as well. They have their deck guide system.
Right.
So you think TL has to do that?
I don't know. It would help a lot because, I wasn't big in League of Legends as you were, Mike. Does TSM have a forum that was pretty active? Because everyone goes there for their guides. Did people go there to talk as well?
I actually never really visited their website too much, but I know that they have pretty active forums, but it's a smaller sub community on that website as far as I understand. So most of the traffic on all of those websites is just for the guides for the most part. There's always going to be little sub communities and stuff that focus highly on the forums, but whenever I went there, it was just to look up a guide for a hero I haven't played.
Interesting.
So they're not huge, but they exist.
Here's where we get really deep. I think achievement and reward like the like achievements and rewards kind of thing that's kind of swept over the entire like online scene of everything. Like you do this, you get little points or something like that. Like Reddit is just too rewarding for people to go post in a forum. But I feel like a forum is much better for having actual conversations about strategies and balances and stuff like that. Because if you go to a Reddit and somebody's like, I think that Tyrael is still number one. And somebody's like, yeah, man, I play Tyrael all the time. I feel like Tyrael, yeah, X, Y, and Z. And it's like the most upvoted point for some strange reason. And it's like, well, I mean, all this guy's points are wrong. And if you say something else, it's like, you know, in a forum, your post is still there. But if people disagree with you enough, your post just goes away.
It's true.
It's like, so forums are better for controversial going back and forth debates. And Reddit is just, you know, as Jake said, Reddit is just better for those kinds of things. So
also, those discussions lose visibility very quickly.
That's
within
the
like
thing.
a couple days, right? So,
I hope Team Liquid or some other forum does take that kind of form, and it actually is like some sort of go back and forth, or you know whatever anybody else is working on.
We need it.
We do need it, but I feel like in the common mindset, it's like, well, I'm not going to get any points for arguing about this right now.
Speaking of discussions, have you ever been like, hey, Town Hall Heroes had a good point. Where would I discuss this? And, you know, a thread on Team Liquid. Well, there's a Town Hall Heroes thread on Team Liquid.
Damn. There totally is. And that's probably, you know, a good place for us to move forward with questions and stuff. We'll definitely start keeping our eyes on that. We're going to keep a close eye on that forum, but you guys make a lot of good points in the fact that Liquid can't just open a forum and hope that it succeeds. They need to put the effort into having a really strong Liquipedia. They need to have that streamer list and have an updated calendar. And if they do all of those things and, you know, encourage writers and have people create guides, then yeah, they can totally become that, or somebody else will do it better. But that home will be established. And I'm just glad to have Liquid as one of those people that's taking a step into the field, because
they're hosting events now.
Yeah, they're running, and that's the next point. They're doing a community cup, and they're doing it against Titan Arena, but it is not prized. I don't think.
It
Bring
is
it.
$100.
$100.
$100?
If Titan Arena wasn't on Sunday, we would have played it. We were sad about that because I love Team Liquid. I used to play and then cast the Team Liquid Cups. They're awesome. And
Oh, the Community Cup is on Sunday?
yeah.
Oh, that's fine. So I mean, like,
Most
you know,
of the teams
the
that are
Community Cup is
knocked
going to
out.
be open more easily going teams, whereas Sunday is going to be the top, you know, the semifinals and finals.
4 teams. Yeah, just 4 teams.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Oh.
That actually
So
works
you
out
did
great.
decide to break Titan Arena up
Yep.
into 2 days?
And that's why I think it's going to be a lot more exciting. Just where's the plug? Because it's going to be the 2 semifinals and then the best of the third place match and then the finals. And it's all going to be best of 5s.
Oh, kind of
So-
like Ding It. What a good format that is.
Rip.
not even going there. Not even going.
Oh, we get to talk about Ding It. Wait.
Dang it, Bobby.
Yeah, we can talk about Ding It later.
Dang it, Bobby. Let's talk about
Alright,
Ding It.
let's talk about Ding
or
It.
Do we...
Well, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail where we were going. I don't know where we were going.
No, we're talking about events, so we're just We'll get to the patch stuff soon, the developer insight. We'll get to that soon, but we're talking about esports now. We're talking about esports growth. May as well stick with it. And moving on to Ding It. So Ding It happened this past weekend. It finally finished. Essentially, what Ding It ended up being is we had these 4 qualifiers that were essentially a glorified round of 16 that was stretched out over a period of time. Through those qualifiers, the teams advanced into a round of a 8-man bracket, and Kev's holding back the puns. He's just sitting back, holding them back, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. But yeah, so we had the 8-man bracket, and round of 8 happened on Friday, and then we had, of course, on Saturday the grand finals. And with the grand finals, Zoya, your computer ripped, but you got it fixed, and we had some pretty sick games. And just talking about the games, Mr. Glaurung here kind of had us crapping ourselves with excitement on his Chen plate twice in a row. Zoya, tell him what happened.
So it was in the finals. It was, for those that missed the games, it was a best of 5 between Maelstrom and Tempo Storm. And it was on Cursed Hollow, and Glaurung was playing Chen. And there was a point where Tempo Storm had just taken the top right boss. Glaurung had rotated down to the bottom left boss, which was on Maelstrom's side of the map. He barreled into it, and we had Tempo Storm had 2 golems pushing top and bottom lane at like the 19-minute mark, and
You can't stop
they
it.
were both exposed to core.
It's like checkmate at that point. Like
You guys could have just sat back and like had coffee.
Yeah.
essentially, yeah.
And then Maelstrom does a salty run back, takes us back to Cursed Hollow, and Glaurung does it again.
And the second time, like they expected it, they checked for it, and they, ETC, he tried to zone you out. I don't know if it was caffeine, tried to zone you out, but you got in there and you did what Chen does best.
And
And
then Dread got the sickest ancestral off ever.
oh, it was like he just barely got there. Like you, and no right, you weren't supposed to live. You just had no right to live, but you did.
Chen's an extremely underrated hero. Let's just say
That's
that.
good. That's good. I actually so those VODs, if you want to watch the actual tournament VOD where you get the genuine reaction from me and Zoya just freaking out, those are on Ding It. But I took those VODs and I analyzed them for a daily quest focused on Chen. I did a full like deep dive on Chen where I just analyzed Chen gameplay, and we looked at those two games for Glaurung and just kind of analyzed the play. So if you want to learn about like why some of the talent picks that Glaurung did and some of that Chen play, that's there. So that's my plug. But moving on, that wrapped up and you guys got first place.
Yeah, it's a pretty good ending. Like, the funny thing about that though is we had made like the role swap the night before Ding It, the finals, and I had only played Chen. Actually, I hadn't played Chen more than once on this patch, and I had never used Barrel before. So that was actually my second and third time using Barrel in those two matches. So it was so funny. I can't believe that.
That's awesome.
I pulled it
awesome. So speaking of that, you were Flex for a very long time, and we've had some role swaps. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, I mean, it just plays to our strengths as a team. I feel like mechanically, I'm one of the better like Flex players, but we decided as a team like it'd be much easier to shot call from a warrior perspective, and also Soldier is a really good versatile player, like arguably one of the best players in the game, and he didn't feel like he was very impactful on warrior, and some of his decisions weren't great. So we decided to make the swap, and like it's been pretty good so far.
Well,
We're actually shocked at how fast like we were able to adapt to it. We were prepared for the worst. Like, you know what? We've got all these big tournaments coming up, but if we're going to do a swap, we should do it now. And if we suffer because of that, big deal. But literally, like Mike says, the day before we made the swap, and then we had this next weekend where we did
it's
very
not like
well.
it was a role he's never played. You used to
Yeah, I've
you were
played
the
Warrior
Stitches guy.
before.
You were like the Stitches guy. So
Still.
you at least-
still,
yeah. No, it's a big change for sure, but
for
it's
the yeah.
not something that you would think would be a complete disaster or have that potential to, because you have some idea of how to fit that role. My question is, what are you going to do when they have a ranged warrior? Okay, what are you going to do?
You mean like Stitches?
No, ranged autos.
He means like a marauder.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
That'd be
'Cause
such an
you're all about
interesting
that. You're
design.
all about that.
Laundry's done.
Kerrigan life. You're all about the Illidan. You know.
Illidan and
Zeratul, right? Okay. You think about that now.
I actually would love to see a ranged warrior implemented. I think it would be a lot of fun. It just doesn't make too much sense to have a warrior who's supposed to be frontline like ranged. So I think it would like add complexity to the game, and I think it would be cool. But
All right. So I was watching the league finals, right? You can go in a sec. And I was watching the flamethrower dude, and that was pretty cool.
Rumble.
So the day we get a Firebat hero or a Hellion that turns into a Hellbat, is that going to be your dream?
that would be awesome.
Hypermobility.
I want a tank that you can like have a huge impact on the team fight. Like I'm used to playing heroes like Kerrigan
hooks
where
are-
you can. But I want a tank that like super high risk, high reward. And I guess Stitches does kind of fill that void, but he's gotten nerfed a ton. I miss the old sprint gorge bolt.
I do too. I love.
No one misses that.
No, I miss those.
You're disgusting.
Those are
Oh
excellent.
man. But when a Hellbat hero comes out, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna put a ton of time into him.
Kev, you got real excited for something.
Oh no, I just saw Dread though.
Yeah, we had a dread sighting.
Oh, okay.
Did he walk behind me?
Yeah, he went to get his laundry.
Even then though, Rumble's not a ranged warrior in a lot of ways. He's a top, but he's not really a ranged warrior.
He's a
He
warrior.
just has flamethrower.
He's like a secondary, like,
He's like
AP mid.
He's like a yeah.
Oh, okay. Totally read that hero
The
wrong.
flamethrower, dude.
Anyway,
what he is.
So let's talk about ESL this past, well, at least Thursday Thursday was Tempo's.
We don't have to talk about anything that day. Nothing happened.
Thursday
Yeah,
was Tempo's game.
That was when we played versus Barrel Boys.
Was that? So we had some things that happened. That game.
Oh, things.
How do I?
Dude, game 3 was insane. We had like a terrible
was.
early game, got super far behind, made a pretty good comeback, and then I walked into 5 of them and threw. So
Hey,
it was like an
you
awkward
helped-
turn of events.
You helped
but
heroes get listed on like every Blizzard website ever for like the first time. That's gonna
Well,
be.
wait, hold on. How do you feel about your mess up being?
How do I feel about it?
I'm just kidding.
I was playing like pretty empty-minded. I didn't really think about my positioning, but
It's
mean,
okay.
we definitely learned from it too. Like
Was the thought process? We got this. It's over.
the thought process for me was the only way they can win is if they rush core and get a pick off. So I'm gonna provide, yeah, right. So I'm gonna provide vision for my team on the single like chokehold that we don't have vision. And it's like it was just a terrible line of reasoning, and I got picked. And then even after that, like.
And then the other
After that,
housemate
there was-
in the team house decided to go just as silly and
We
Give another
definitely
free
still
kill.
could have won the game after I had thrown at that point. Our damage control in that situation was pretty poor. Like,
Dread panicked and then got.
we
picked
just
as
have
well.
to, in a situation where you have a 100 skull golem threatening their core, you win the game 100% that late into the match. So all you really need to do is sit on your core. And
Clearly, it's not
make sure they can't
100%
kill you.
because you proved that.
Exactly, if you do it properly, I mean. But no, it
Thank you for
definitely
making
was-
the joke I was going to, Jake.
Hey, man, you got to shoot those shots.
Well, as terrible as that situation was for you guys, at least you learned something. It seems
Yeah.
as though you've gotten over it a little bit, at least as best you can. Learn from it. And it's better to have that happen now, like a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, I mean-
that,
Well,
yeah,
we
so
learned a
it's-
lot from it. Well, it's more specifically me than my team, but I learned a lot. Like, don't get complacent ever in a match, and like I'm just glad there wasn't money on the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I brought it up. Like, if it was like, the difference between thousands of dollars or something like that, or first or second place, I'd
we wouldn't
probably
be
a
busting
little
your
bit
balls.
hesitant to
Yeah.
bring it up. I'd still probably bring it up, but I wouldn't bring
Oh,
it up.
dude.
So, but
It's important to bring up.
yeah, exactly. That's
Good.
why I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to know what the team's thoughts were, especially because it was then afterwards so highly publicized. But
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, though. That match was by far the most exciting game in terms of a finish we've ever had. I don't know if you watched the replay. Cooby and I don't make words at the end.
Yeah.
We stop making words.
I attempted to
Even
call some
after
numbers
the
out.
throws?
I was like, 40
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
Like even after the throws, it probably would have been one of the most exciting games.
Yeah,
to watch.
it already
Yeah,
was.
Like it was a
Amazing
2% to a 0% core. It's like the slightest things could have made a difference. If
Wait.
the Tassadar on their team had gone like Mule over Static Charge or something, like we would have won. Just little things like that after that match that you think about and you're like,
Anything could
insane.
have changed that.
I remember when Glorious lost a 2-arc to another 2% game. Were you on the roster at that point?
we actually lost to 2-arc multiple times when it was a really close match like that.
But
I
he
remember
wasn't glorious at the time.
a 1% match versus 2-arc.
Yep. It was
And
in
I
the same
also
like 2
remember-
weeks. They were
Yeah.
like back to back.
I remember a 1% match versus 2-arc. That was when Abathur was in the meta, and then I also remember a 2%. So, I don't know. I think I'm cursed, man.
what is up with 2% wins and losses? Because that also happened with EG.
Because
Remember?
2% milk is disgusting and people drink it for some reason.
What?
2%
Dreadnought
milk
drinks
is like
it,
the
right?
best.
Whole milk, bro. Just drink it straight. Like,
Okay,
want that
Jared.
2% nonsense.
Okay. All right.
What about 1%?
Whole milk.
Aren't those the people we're supposed to be rallying against?
The
Wait.
1%.
All right, it's not a pun.
That's not a pun.
It's
It's just
not
a dad joke. It's just a dad joke. Dad
a
jokes
dad
are
joke.
allowed. Okay. So did you guys like watch a replay, or did you guys just know from the end as to?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, we didn't watch that?
We
replay?
watched the VOD. I don't think we went into the replay.
Okay.
of it.
Oh, okay.
But we pretty clearly knew where we messed up. So, like, we took a lot away from that game. Like, it was pretty emotional at the time, I guess. But like we learned a lot from it. It was cool.
Glad to hear. All right. Other esports news.
My first, or like the last thing I'm gonna say on that was
Okay.
like, the first thought I had after that was probably a crazy game to watch. Like that was the first thing that came to my head after that game.
Dude, that one pick, like 30 seconds into the game, just the shadow charge flip, Kerrigan,
Kerrigan
yeah, it
combo.
just like absolutely decimated KO. Just absolutely removed him from the fight instantly. It was so, just like, and the whole match was just like boom, 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 boom.
Going into that match though, like in the draft, on Haunted Mines specifically, like we were kind of trying to play to our strengths. We almost never win the early game on Haunted Mines, but then we almost always make a comeback in the mid to late game. So we drafted around that thought and made a comp that would beat theirs in the mid to late game. And I think that showed. Like even though we were a full keep down, we ended up like winning team fights and coming back into that match. But definitely having a huge early game prowess like gives you such an advantage on Haunted Mines.
Okay, well, we do have a poll here for Milk. And we can see 2% is in the lead right now, currently sitting at...
man.
Oh, it's 7 votes. Whole Milk is sitting at a measly...
Oh my god.
3
That was
votes.
the
Not
best
expecting you to bring
transition.
that up.
That transition. I don't think Jake knew what the straw poll was for.
Oh, I
think
did.
He just.
I,
okay.
I clicked it, and then I was like, okay, good, we're going into this.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Whole Milk's starting to take a lead.
It's getting up there. We'll keep our eyes on that poll, guys. Keep sending your votes in. Cooby put it in the Twitch chat, and we'll be keeping our eyes,
On the milk vote.
on the Milk poll.
Milk vote 2015.
I'm trying to remember what happened last week. I have a terrible memory. Did we talk about HPL turning to HPL Arena? Yes.
Yes.
We did.
We can
Okay.
talk about, we got Kings
Yeah,
of
we
Leon.
went in on HBL if you don't recall.
Okay, I do remember
That's
now.
where the grunty came from.
That's right.
Yeah.
Talk about Kings.
I was
What
completely.
happened on Kings? I didn't actually get to catch it.
Yeah, I was out of town.
So we went 5-1 versus Maelstrom that day, which felt really good.
Wow, that's impressive.
Who did we play in the finals? Vortex.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Vortex.
3-0 or 3. I don't know. What, I think it was.
It was best of 5 and we went.
That was a long day to play.
It was a long day. It was like
Right, 'cause you guys had all the Dinget matches
prior to
previous
Kings
in the
of the Storm,
day,
yeah.
and then you played Kings of the Storm immediately after. And did you play anything on Sunday?
Oh, Gosu Cup. Did you guys play
We
Gosu?
played-
I want to
We
bring up
didn't
drama.
play Ghost Cup, but
I
we
wanna bring
did
up
play
Kingdom
in Go for Heroes on Sunday. All right, go ahead, Zoya.
Dunk Train tweeted about it. Let's talk about the morality of this situation. What do you guys think? So, there was a situation where the match was scheduled at a certain time, and
Okay. I know what you're talking about. This was Dang It.
yeah, it was tweeted about. It's already public information, so I'm not like revealing hidden stuff. Now, Maelstrom wanted to. They didn't have a player on or something. They did not want to. They wanted to wait until scheduled time to do a warm up.
There was a full hour block
Oh.
in which we were ready, in which Barrel Boys was ready to go, and Maelstrom had just logged in, and they wanted that hour to warm up.
Yeah, and Barrel Boys sniped Maelstrom's Q
A quick match.
in quick match and proceeded to feed into towers and waste their warm up. Thoughts?
It's BM. There is definitely tension between the teams.
Yeah.
But to get a competitive edge, if you know that someone's trying to warm up before a tournament,
It's not sportsmanlike. That's what I'm
You
going to
didn't
say.
say that. You didn't say that. You said a competitive edge.
Yeah, but I don't think it's sportsmanlike.
There's definitely an argument for that there. What is the right call? Well, so you have to back it up in terms of
Oh, I had Reyna.
when the match is scheduled to be played, that's technically the right call. So is it right for Barrel Boys to even be salty about it in the first place? It doesn't matter what Maelstrom said going into it. They can give a whole slew of excuses. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
It's when it was scheduled. So if that's true, I guess that's
Wait,
it's
I'm
not
sorry.
wrong, but it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not sportsmanlike, but if they want to do it, there's nothing stopping them from doing it.
Sorry,
Well,
can you
yeah.
explain the situation again? They fed
There's
the towers to waste the warm up so they wouldn't have a warm up before the match?
Correct. They were going to be facing each other. Maelstrom wanted to warm up. Barrel Boys queued up when they saw Maelstrom queue up, hit them on quick match, and wasted their quick match warm up, basically. Maelstrom then had enough time to do another quick match game because of how quickly it ended, so they got their warm up in anyways. So it was funny and cute, but it definitely created some tension between the teams. It was very obvious in the lobby.
It doesn't really give any team a competitive edge, really. But the thing about it is, it's just like kind of more of a respect issue than anything else. Like,
Yep.
that's the way I see it, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, as a competitive player, it's like a warm-up match is really nice and can help you in the long run.
Yeah.
But like,
That's what it's called, a warm up for a reason. Like,
but it just kind of seemed crazy to me at the time that like you have a scheduled match to be played at that scheduled time, and you don't have to play until that time. So I don't think like Maelstrom was in the wrong. But then again, what I think Barrel Boys did, I don't think necessarily was wrong either. It just depends on your frame of reference, because I think both teams handled the situation poorly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on one end, Maelstrom, you could argue that they lied about their situation, and then Barrel Boys, on the other hand,
very true.
There's some disrespect on either side, and neither of the two sides ended up looking good in the end.
Pretty much.
But no one did anything technically wrong.
No, everyone was in their
It
right
just
to do
depends
what
on,
they did.
like how you view it ethically.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I said bring them more. Like, what do you guys think about that situation? Is that something that?
That's something they got to sort between themselves. It's all about their public image, how they want to appear to other teams and to the viewers.
You have to also consider
fans.
that these guys that you're queuing into could be your future teammates. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
It's best
factors
to
involved.
not burn bridges.
Yeah.
Of course, anytime you want to.
But the way I personally see it, if we want to like delve into this drama, I think what Barrel Boys did was like pretty bad manner. And then on top of that, I think publicizing it and posting it on Twitter, like I think both teams like did something that they shouldn't have.
Yep.
So like I don't really think any team's in the right. I think they're both in the wrong in that situation. And I just like if you think about it, like the point you just made, we could be future teammates and stuff like that. It's like
Very true.
we're competing in a video game. It should just be let the better skilled team win and get aside all of this drama. Drama's fun from the outside, but like
Yeah.
it can be
Oh, it's way
annoying
not.
sometimes.
Wait,
It's yeah, that's a really weird situation, and
Get wrecked, Jared.
No.
just to make sure, I'm understanding completely correct. The time that they were supposed to play, did Cloud9 delay that, saying that they're
No delays.
Okay.
before it was before they were supposed
There
to
was
play.
the match prior to them ended an hour earlier than the next scheduled match.
Yeah.
So Barrel Boys was good to go, and we're like, all right, we would like to start this match if you're ready, Cloud9. They're like, no, we're not ready. Someone's not here. That's what we were told. And then they queued up for quick match with all five. So they lied, saying someone wasn't there, but in the end, they just wanted to get their warm-ups, which is fine. You can just say, look, we want to do our warm-up. So
Yeah, that's the weird part. I mean, that's weird, but I don't think that's really.
in Cloud9's defense,
not
I
that
believe
bad.
that they said circumstances changed quickly and the person came back.
maybe they did.
So we shouldn't just flat out say Maelstrom was lying, because we don't have any
Regardless,
proof of that.
they're
It's like
Just to make that clear, I just wanna
circumstantial.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Is like that seems like a. I don't know if we can really say that they're lying.
that's irrelevant. That's
Technically, but,
irrelevant.
Like, yeah.
Regardless, that's irrelevant.
I would put more blame and more hatred towards what Barrel Boys did, and that's really messed up. I think. Just
Kinda
I mean,
where I
if
stand
they
as well.
if they both queued up at different times, something like that, and they accidentally queued into each other,
Wasn't
and
the
Barrel
case.
Boys was like, I don't want to actually show like any of our strategy, or something like that, so they just did that. I can see that, but
They picked like Abath or Murky and we're like suiciding into towers and stuff. Like that just
Yeah,
to me
that
is
sounds-
disrespectful.
that sounds really super disrespectful.
Honestly, they were just salty because they were ready to go, but just kind of one of those maturity things in the community that will grow with time. And
no, it won't.
we
Just
can
like
hope
video
that
games,
we can
man.
hope. Okay, I am hopeful that the community will get more mature and
Those
become.
players might get mature, but maybe new players won't be as mature.
I'm talking. I mean, regular
Yeah.
players. That's one thing. Competitive players, the pros. I expect a little bit more sports and like stuff, or I hope for it at least. Not expect, but I would like to see it there. All right, and
So
I
my
heard the
next
drama.
my next point is can we make sure that every time that Dread takes a step on the top of the stairs, that all the lights dim down and giant spotlights shoot on him, and he has to do a catwalk all the way down to his computer, and just like blaring techno plays. Just a thought.
okay.
Jared, as soon as you get there, they can.
More lighthearted drama in ESL this weekend. Guess who Tempo Storm met in the finals? Iceboxed is back.
Really?
For the
Yeah.
Go 4, yes.
He
Is
made-
he
they-
streaming?
First of all, Go For this weekend was a mess. They gave the number 1 seed a seed, which was Tempo Storm, and then all the other seeds were randomized. So the top half of the bracket was stacked with all the best teams, which allowed the bottom half of the bracket to get...
Wait. Back the train up. They gave the number 1 seed a seed, and everyone else was randomized.
Everyone else
That's not seeding at all.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
It's
Right,
that.
it doesn't change
Why
anything.
bother even putting someone at first seed, because that is not seeding. You're
Yeah.
still
Yo.
completely random.
Even Matt knows it's coming.
Wait.
Even Matt knows it's coming.
Very crucial thing to interject with. I googled Wade Penfold. That's Dreadnought's name. First result is his MySpace picture from back in the day.
Please show us.
Oh my god.
It even cuts off his hair at his forehead. He just cuts it off. I don't know why.
Sure, we should be using our show to do this.
Oh, hey man.
This is beautiful. I'm updating the team website with it.
Sure, we should be using it.
I'm updating the team website with this picture. That is beautiful.
Oh, good. Just Google Wade Penfold. You'll be good.
Look at he's in chat. Rip. Well done. Yeah, so ESL this weekend, go for random seeds. So top stack had EG, Wildfire, Lunatic, Tempo Storm. All the best teams were up there. So the top half was really heavy, which allowed Icebot's team to make it to the finals, where we beat them with Gazo Wombo combo, which was cool. But I just wanted to bring up Icebot because people should never forget what he did.
He
Okay,
learned his lesson.
hold
He
on
learned
here,
his
hold on.
lesson. Don't
Hold on here. He's not streaming. He's not viewbotting. Whatever.
Yeah.
He's playing the game.
Yep.
Tons of players have done terrible things and come back to games. Look at man, I don't even want to say. I don't want to say the D word. Dude, we know the Playhem curse. You say the D word, all of a sudden you get fired from all organizations. Rip Katu.
Poor Katu. Rip.
Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, it's whatever. He's not streaming. He's not trying to use his ill-gotten gains. It doesn't seem like. At least I haven't seen his name anywhere. So I'm not that upset that he's back.
No, there's no reason to be upset. The guy learned his lesson. He corrected his issue. If he wants to be a community member, good on him.
So he's trying to start stuff.
I know,
No.
but I'm
So
shutting
go
it
ahead,
down
Jared.
with
What
you.
I'm
yourself.
saying is we shouldn't forget. People new to the community should know.
There's plenty of new view botters that we constantly have to tackle down, and that's what we have Nick for. And that's a good topic is Nick Hot's forum post on StarCraft, and he actually got to go on some of the big StarCraft podcasts. He is actually just full-blown Twitch detective status.
It's been 3 times now. Like technically this.
Eggy,
And I don't think he actually did anything to reveal Icebox.
he did. I think he did.
Did he?
I think he did.
I think it was him and ZPs that unveiled him.
Yeah, man. This guy this is how you accidentally get a job at Twitch. Is by doing this kind of stuff.
Hey, I hope Twitch catches on and hires him because
Me too. He deserves it.
he's doing something awesome. He's been streaming a lot less to do this, and which directly helps out other streamers like me. So by him shutting down viewbotters, he's only helping everyone else and helping the game out, because when you see this bad quality stream at the top of Heroes of the Storm, you tune in and it's boring as all hell, you can tune out. So Godspeed, Nick. Godspeed.
Didn't Grubby say that to Chef once? He turned into Twitch once, saw Icebox stream, and then was like,
Oh, he did.
he just pieced out.
He was gone.
He thought the game was boring, and look at Grubby now. It's one of his favorite games. So
It's all he
Seems
plays
well.
now. That'll change when this word comes out, I assume, but
No, stay on Heroes, please.
I hope he does. But we'll see. I think he would probably dabble in StarCraft for a bit. All right, moving forward, we can finally talk about those developer insights,
Yay!
which you guys have all been waiting for, of course. Now, we have a Heroes patch coming next week. They're shooting to release Sylvanas and Tomb of the Spider Queen next Tuesday, from what we understand. They want to try to release them next week. There's no guarantees. There could still be issues. And with that, we don't know if we're getting Team League. We don't know if we're getting clans. They talked about all of those things in pretty good detail at BlizzCon. And I think
we're not getting clans.
well,
I think
who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
Who knows? But Sylvanas and Tomb are pretty darn likely for next week. With that, they released a look into what's to come. Who wants to start?
Abathur!
Abathur.
Okay, so I just want to go straight into monstrosity change. This feels it's a good. It like
Hold
makes
on,
it better.
Jared, what is it?
Okay, the
Explain
monstrosity
for the
change.
listeners.
The duration is permanent. So right now it's got like a 30-second window where it can farm, maybe 45, and then it dies off. Which even if you're farming as like if you farm as hard as possible with it, you
Yep.
can get the max stacks.
Yep.
But just for a short amount of time, and that just made it terrible. So now it's permanent. That's kind of terrifying.
Kind of good.
Like, I'm curious as to how newer players are going to handle this, because
Mm-hmm.
this thing can get scaled out of control, and then, like, it's very easy to kill. So, like, if people are aware of the map, the high tier, I don't know how impactful it'll be. It's the same thing as, like, promoted catapult. So those were a thing, too. So, a problem, too. So, I'm kind of nervous about that change. I think it might be too strong.
Actually, I've seen players go 1v1 with max monstrosity with an Abathur hat on top of it and start losing that battle. Like, if the Abathur
It gets
plays
strong.
correctly and goes with the right build and everything, like, you can make monstrosity 1v1 people.
What if
The wrong heroes for the job, obviously, but still, like, if you have to devote specific heroes to go deal with that monstrosity, then now you have a limited amount of resources to go deal with that monstrosity, and that causes strains later in other places of the map. So
You're
that's
spending a heroic
interesting.
on it too.
Right.
If you can heal it, like with a Nuther heal or whatever, can heal that thing up, that is insane. You could have Abathur Locust pushing one lane. You just drop monstrosity for a second to push just a little bit, get some spells out, some tumors, and then you're immediately back on that thing. That thing, if max stats, could be potentially like a threat in fights and can roam from lane to lane depending on how you want to use it.
And that's what Abathur lacks right now.
There's so much you could do with it.
Yeah.
I definitely think for the casual demographic of people who play this game occasionally, I think it might be a little too strong. But without seeing any numbers, you can't really say that because we don't know if the numbers are getting toned down from the amount of farm and stuff like that. But having it be permanent, being able to pressure a lane, generally people aren't super aware of that. In competitive play, I think with that change itself, we might see a little bit more Abathur, but I don't think it'll be too much of an impactful change. It's hard to say though, for sure.
I'm not too worried about it in terms of competitive, but as we've all been saying, split pushing in solo queue, not even lower end, just split pushing in general in solo queue, higher end or lower end MMR is dangerous, and it's frustrating to deal with because everybody. It's really hard to it's like herding cats and trying to get those cats to go do something. What is that, Cooby? Everybody doesn't really always listen, and dealing with those types of things. Oh, there's a cat. It's I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like it in terms of dealing with solo queue and casual and all that stuff. I think that they've tried doing split pushing a lot, and every time they've done split pushing, they found that it's not fun for the solo queuer and the casual, and they end up nerfing it. And I feel like this is going to be much the same.
We'll see. Abathur still lacks that heroic in battle that is impactful in battle. But
Ultimate evolution change, yeah.
I'm excited to see the numbers on that. It could be good.
I'm nervous because it's already a short duration. It's 30 seconds right now, and they're talking about reducing that even more. With the wind-up time Ultimate Evolution has, and if they make the duration shorter than 30 seconds, it's just they popped Ultimate Evolution. It's just going to be like Archon and Odin. They pop that, you're not ready to fight, just back out.
Yeah.
And then what happens? It doesn't matter how strong Ultimate Evolution is, with that wind-up time it takes to get going, you can just retreat from it, and I'm afraid that it's still not going to be good enough.
What I'm excited to see is whether or not it's just similar to how it was I don't know how many patches ago, 8 patches ago, 9 months ago, back when Abathur's Ultimate Evolution, the clone had a larger health pool and actually did more damage than the actual hero. You could clone a Falstad and just use aerial blitzkrieg for free. You just E into them and take all the damage you want, but just because the health pool is so large. So I wonder if they're just going to be upgrading the Ultimate Evolution's base stats.
I feel like
if so, then that could be viable in certain situations.
even if you got 10% more health and 10% more movement speed or something along that line, that could be ridiculous. Imagine an Illidan with that.
Yeah.
Please,
Or
please
like
no.
a Vala.
Yeah.
So they have left it a little bit open-ended in saying, we do believe we found a happy medium by increasing the power level of Ultimate Evolution. But that could mean a few things. That could mean that they allow talent changes to be in effect for
True.
the abilities, or it could just be stat upgrades. And we're not sure what direction they're going to take that. And that will honestly have a big impact in terms of how it's played.
Yeah. Talents would be sick. You got talent choices from the hero? That would be sick.
Double melting point push. Let's go.
Oh my god. Could you imagine double siege siege tank with
Yeah.
like hover?
With hover, right?
Oh
It's
my god.
But without hover, if it's just stat increases, it might not, right. So you gotta wait.
That'd actually make Kerrigan clone pretty terrifying, because right now the issue with cloning Kerrigan is you don't have the increased range on Primal Grasp. So like, her base kit is one of the strongest in the game, and that's like makes her a strong ultimate evolution target. So she actually did get talents, and she could be pretty strong with an Abathur.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, moving down the list, we can see healers making some changes. The Uther, they're keeping an eye on the double healer meta, which is good to hear. Just because the double healer meta is, although it's nice to have the option, it's definitely probably the most stale meta we've ever had. And we can also see that just they want to nerf Uther in the sense that there's no counterplay to that ghost. The ghost can just walk through the wall and casually divine storm you and ruin your day and do whatever the heck he wants. Instead, the ghost is just going to have a new short cooldown heal. That's good. I don't know if they clarify if he can auto attack while in ghost form still. I assume he can.
I don't like it.
Don't like this change.
No. We're already starting to see in like tournaments and specifically in scrims too, Uther starting to fall off a bit. We're only seeing them in one style of composition, which is the blow-up style. We're seeing Malfurion be picked up more. Like, what we're seeing Uther sometimes go through a draft if neither team wants to go the blow-up comp. A lot of teams are going blow-up right now, so we do still
Is that a
see
problem, though?
Well,
He's one of the only heroes in the game that has never fallen out of the meta. Like, there's only a handful of
I
heroes.
think he's going to be bad if they nerf him. I honestly, like, unless... I don't think we're going to see him too much. Like, if they change... Like, what they're talking about changing with his ghost, that is huge.
I'm telling you right now.
Not being able to Divine Storm in there, that might rip-a-rooney dooney him.
He's going to fall off, and then everyone's going to be like, oh, wait, this guy's actually amazing, and they're just going to start playing him again.
He's
Depends on how
starting to
severe
fall
the
off
hurt is.
now, though, is like the interesting thing in his current state, and he's like really strong, like as far as numbers go right now, but people are starting to figure out how to play around him. Like,
metas will
us
always shift.
specifically, like I don't really think Uther's too much of a threat currently at the moment, but like it's definitely like gonna change for sure. And his kit is one of the stronger for a support, but it's gonna be interesting to see how valuable he is once he gets nerfed.
It is a fair point to bring up that there is no counterplay to the ghost in setting up that Divine Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
Right.
I mean,
I-
he
I-
can walk
I-
right
Blizzard
through
has stated
everything.
that they don't like those.
I like that. I like that idea that because there is literally no counterplay to a ghost Uther. Like you can't aside from running away from it, you can't stop it or anything. So I like the idea that they're willing to change that, but if they don't add something
maybe,
else to
maybe
him,
buff him elsewhere. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that they're going in the right direction in that sense.
yeah, I agree that there is no counterplay to ghosts. But if they're just something like you can't Divine Storm while in ghost form, like all it takes is like an Uther sprinting in, you target him, you stun lock him, you kill him before he gets that Divine Storm off, and useless hero.
Alternatively, though, he probably won't be a useless hero. He's just going to fulfill a completely different role.
Yeah, and that's
Because,
great.
like, if you read what it says on the website, it says Uther's Ghost will lose all of his base abilities and now showcase a different heal on a lower cooldown. It changes, like, the playstyle, too. Like, you can play around it, absorb as much damage, try and play him, like, the way you do currently right now, and, like, blow him up. And then afterwards, if you blow up that one target, you can continuously heal up your teammates while you're in ghost form to make sure you win that 4v4. So
think
it's
that's-
interesting. It's interesting to say the least. Like, I'm not 100% certain whether or not it'll be good just because we don't see numbers and we haven't seen anyone try it.
I like the
but-
idea that heroes start to fill more specific roles, though. Having this hero that is just actually the best healer, like, no matter what the composition is boring to me.
Then
I
look at Rhaegar, then.
I want to see, well, I want to see Malfurion being a good pick because of XYZ. I want to see Uther being a good pick because of XYZ, but I don't like seeing, okay, we're going to pick Uther Rhaegar first every game, and then that'll secure us a win. Like, I don't like that.
Well, I agree. But
As
what
far
we're
as
saying
supports
is Uther
go-
doesn't do that right now.
As far as supports go, the change that I think is most essential, that I think needs to happen in the next patch, and this is my personal opinion, but what impacts the game more than anything is having Healing Word and Clairvoyance. Both of those abilities, like, can be in the game, and I think they should have a place, but, like, Rhaegar, let's take him for example, with Farsight and Healing Word. Healing Word at level 1, first of all, like, helps him in many situations, and then at level 4, you get Farsight, which is... It only has a 20-second downtime, and it's, like, insane, because both of those abilities are, like, ridiculously...
Is no one going to address that noise?
They can't hear it.
No, oh, you're right. Crap.
I would like to see Healing Word changed in the next patch, like,
2%?
more than anything else.
2% healing ward? Is that your new favorite number, 2%?
Oh, no, we
2%
man.
total? Yeah.
do that.
I just don't like that something at a level 1 or level 4 talent tier has more of an impact than some ultimates. Like, that doesn't make... Or heroic abilities. That just doesn't quite compute in my head. But I don't know what they could do to change it. It's either going to be too weak to use. It's either going to be too weak to use or too strong, I think.
I think it's a great talent. And I mean, I don't know. I've been on this tirade for a really long time where I feel like they need to have talents that are more influential at level 1 through 4. But that's just me. And I feel like Healing Ward is actually a really cool talent because there's counterplay to it. You immediately target it and it goes down.
It's so hard to target, though.
Do you think it needs a smaller radius?
It needs to be bigger. It needs to be like easier to target.
Or have a smaller radius?
No, I don't think it needs to have a smaller radius. I like because you want to have a battle that's going to be mobile. You don't want to have people be like afraid to leave a radius or something like that. I feel like just
if it were like the size of Rhaegar's E, then that would be a lot easier to like.
Oh my god!
Counterplay against.
Obviously, they're
that's like nothing.
They're aware that there's something wrong with it because they made it so that any like ability, like AOE ability, would destroy it. I'm pretty sure that was an intentional change, and then it became extinct, so we reverted that. But obviously, they're aware of its power, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what you guys can come up with other than changing radius or making it bigger. That doesn't really makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're just gonna have this poof! This giant thing just smacks down on the ground. Hit me!
Easier to click, I would say, would make it easier.
That was my whole line of reasoning.
That's what I meant. Yeah, just something that's easier to click, so make it bigger. Something that's easier to see and something that's easier to click. That's all I meant was just for the counterplay. Because right now it's already like, oh man, there's something standing over it, which then introduces a different counterplay to that counterplay.
Right, the body blocking.
Like an ETC to stand over.
That's exactly what I do as Rhaegar. I just get in my ghost wolf form and I'm just like, sup, I'm a dog.
Yep.
Dog mode.
That's like some of the coolest plays that we saw in League where like people would like stand over Thresh's lantern so you couldn't click on it.
Let's not talk about that game because I don't know what language you're speaking.
Wow.
Now, moving down the list.
Hold on. Before we advance a little bit further, Jared, did you catch that potential pun? And/or do we need a judgment on it?
I did not catch it because I usually zone out when Kevin's talking, so if you can repeat what he said.
We were talking about Healing Ward, and he said not to go on a tirade about it. Is that intentional?
No way!
I think that's reaching for Kevin.
Okay, that's why I wanted a judgment.
Cooby,
sure.
if I make a pun, you're gonna just every pun that I've ever made, you just go. Ugh.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
You didn't go.
Iffy.
So it's not a pun.
All right, just want to make sure.
That's the gauge.
You know when he puns because he does this. It's like it's the dumbest smirk.
Yeah.
And I use the certain type of voice too.
Okay, let's talk about this guy Murky.
Let's not talk about it.
We don't expect him to have a much better win rate. All right, Rip. Murky's always gonna suck. Moving on.
That's blanket statements. I think they're giving him some better. What do they say? Feeling changes.
They're giving him some love.
Yeah, he needs love after they've nerfed him time and time again.
But he's never going to be relevant and competitive. They don't want him to be.
I want him to be, though.
They don't.
I wouldn't say he's never going to be relevant and competitive, but he's just in a really weird spot right now. And we've discussed this to death, like whether, just the fact that he just represents so many different things and so many different challenges in terms of being like a developed character.
Yes. They made that very clear.
But I don't think he'll ever not. I don't think saying he'll never be in competitive is a good thing. Because, I mean, if we see Sonya.
Oh. All right.
The statement very clear. We are cautious about making major buffs to Murky. Because he's the bunker, right? So
he's so good at this game that they just have to nerf him 5 patches in a row before realizing, like, we don't know what we're doing when we design heroes.
Wow. There are so many heroes in this game, though. Like, Jared actually brings up a good point. There are so many like heroes in this game where there's such a fine line where a hero is either going to be like by far one of the best heroes or it's going to be completely trash.
Yep.
Like, if we look at Illidan, if he had completely different numbers, his kit would make no sense. If he had a smaller health pool, didn't do damage, and didn't have those invulnerability frames, then like Illidan would be significantly weaker. But because those things are in place and he does the amount of damage that he does and has that survivability, you see him like far and above almost every other melee assassin. And like heroes like Vala too. Like,
yeah,
there are just heroes that are either gonna be way too strong or way too weak. There's like no middle ground with those heroes, and I think Azmodan's one of those heroes, and like same with Illidan and Murky, and just like a bunch of heroes like that. It's like
not a bad point.
Hard to draw a line.
Rework Murky already, please.
Again.
Please.
Again. All right. Stitches.
Ooh.
Saw some changes.
I was not pleased with reading this.
Me neither.
Explain, Cooby.
Not pleased. Okay, so they're highlighting the impact that Hook has. Yes, it's going to be a very strong talent, but at the end of it, they're saying, okay, what are we gonna do to him? We're gonna take his damage down. That's fine because there are some ways to build him where he probably is doing a little bit more damage than a warrior should. And then they say we're going to adjust his health pool or his survivability. That didn't make any sense to me. I read that and I was like, why though?
It sounds like they're trying to design the hero to be one thing, a hook.
Yeah.
And that's just boring to me.
Yeah.
That's just so boring to me. Like,
man, I gave up on
ETC
Stitches
and
when they took
Diablo.
away Sprint.
We're seeing Chen almost more than we see Stitches right now. Like, why nerf him, man? Is he really that big of a deal in like low tier play? Like, I bet most of those low tier people can't even hit a hook. So
yeah, I forget. I think one of us said it in a couple of previous episodes when we first saw that the nerf, where it was the reason that Stitches is so impactful at lower levels of play is that everyone understands the hook. They see it and it's like a very obvious cue. Yes, we've grabbed this person, and it's time to go on and just focus this one person down. Like, that is a very clear way to play. I get that, but taking down his tankiness is
yeah.
I
can understand. I agree with Camille 100%. He said he agreed with the damage being
damage is fine,
which that's fine for like lower tier adjustment, but
I think you have to target one or the other, not both. You can increase his damage, or you can increase his tankiness. But if you nerf him in both regards, he, like Zoya said, is just going to be a hook, and that is very, very dull, and you probably won't see too much of him in competitive play.
To further that point, when they're already on the line of finding that sweet spot for Stitches, why change 2 variables at once? That doesn't, just from a balancing perspective, doesn't make any sense.
Arthas is the best example. They nerfed his healing into the ground. They nerfed his damage into the ground. When do we see Arthas play?
Where is he now?
Doesn't even play him. EU doesn't play him. That's like the #1 symbol of a hero being dead.
Wow.
All joking aside, though, Zoya, I mean, we've been playing Chen recently, and where did we learn about Chen? We learned it in Europe.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Look at him, he's like his head's down there.
But they're not playing Arthas. So where are you going to learn Arthas? You going to go to Korea for that? Are they playing Arthas? I doubt it.
I'm pretty sure you still owe us replays, Sajik, because I know.
Yeah, you do hoard.
I remember a little conversation about that.
Your Korean hoarding of.
Hey man, somebody's got to do it.
No one has to do it.
No, someone has to hoard Korean replays. Gotta share the wealth, man.
Hey, I'm starting a new Heroes team, and I got to give them the best knowledge. Tempest Storm's going down. They're going down to the solid jack eggs.
I really hope you actually do start a team.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so I'd like to rub your face in the mud over and over.
Been thinking about it. The maybes.
That'd be the sickest team ever.
Wait.
You'd have to fly her out to events, though. Can't you fly, Corey?
Is she allowed?
Is she allowed to fly?
She's the mascot.
Take her everywhere. She's a good private jet.
All right, last but not least, yes, we're a private jet, was in fact the Vikings. Vikings
I like
being
it.
the newest hero, and they don't want to make any big changes. They just want to scale back the damage on Longboat Raid as play again is never picked up whatsoever. Longboat Raid, I mean, we've talked about the impact it has in team fights, and it just hits so hard. And there is counterplay. You can burn the Longboat down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But if you're not in a position to do that, and they can just go off and get the full duration, oh my god, it does so much damage.
Doing a 180 after I just got done bashing Blizzard, this is actually amazing coming from a StarCraft background. We just got numbers, or not numbers, but Blizzard stated that in both Quick Match and Hero League, Viking was one of the top 5 winningest heroes in both leagues.
Yep.
And they just said they have no changes, major changes planned for them. Blizzard's being patient with a
good.
ridiculous hero, and that is awesome.
So
I'm so happy with this. I was very happy when I read that.
yeah, hopefully more of that moving forward because.
Well, they
Definitely.
said they came out and said like we want to increase transparency between what's going on in the internal workings and Blizzard, and I don't think any other game I've ever heard of, especially even after StarCraft 2's lot of issues that happened. It was just like, okay, here comes a patch, and boom, there's a patch. I think it's a really good thing that they're doing these types of things as well as increasing that transparency. I think that's going to be. I think everything is just good. Everything they're doing is like pandering to make everybody happy, and they're doing an A+ job at it.
Do we have a link to that post? I think Trickster is the one that said that, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for it on Reddit right now. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, we've all played lots of games. We're all gamers. You know, we're not just
Yeah.
Blizzard.
No, that's
That transparency is insane.
they echoed all that, and when we got to talk to Browder at the VIP party at PAX, he talked about that, but he also talked about they think they might be over nerfing heroes, and they want to try to not do that. So maybe they even admitted, he's like, maybe we're making too many changes at once. He's like, look at Abathur. You know, we've changed him so much. So seems like they understand maybe they're doing a little bit too much at once. Maybe they seem to think that maybe they need to step back and just kind of let things figure itself out over time. Maybe these heroes don't need buffs. I mean, you look at Rhaegar, he fell out for a while and he came back. And some of it comes with meta shifts. Other things come with just people figuring it out. They're still planning on reworking Diablo talents, but at this point, since they fixed the way he feels, does he need it? What do you think, Glau? You think Diablo needs changes?
Some of his talent changes are really dull, but he's in a pretty good spot now. He's actually one of the best warriors, and I know that just like makes Shamtu's year, but like he's pretty strong right now.
Kevin's offended because I didn't ask him. I asked Glaurung, so he's offended. I always ask Kevin about Diablo things, and I threw it to someone for a change, and he's just like, well, I'm not here, right? Good.
We're going to talk about Diablo. No.
All right, moving on. New topic. We don't need any more clarification. That hero.
Go ahead.
Cooby?
No, I mean, I feel like he's always been in that spot, but you know, it's just me. I think when they were talking about redoing Diablo, I think we misunderstood that, and I think when we had Johnsy on our show, he said, I was talking to the developer who was working on Diablo. He made the functionality between Overpower and Shadow Charge really, really smooth, and I think that was what they were talking about. I don't know if they were actually working on reworking
No,
Diablo
I think they message it in this post. They say something along the lines of, for example, we're still looking for feedback on the Lord of Terror himself, Diablo. We recently made changes in his control, and we feel he's more responsible. In internal playtests, we're currently trying various talent changes and hope to have them out in a patch further in the future. So, they're talking
Very
about
nice.
changes.
That's so exciting because
It's
I feel
something
like
about Diablo in a paragraph.
Good job.
Diablo just doesn't feel like, as far as lore goes, like the Lord of Terror. At least from my perspective, like his kit, I don't know. I expected a high damage tank, and it's like
Like a bruiser.
yeah, like more of a bruiser than anything else, like a barbarian style with a completely different kit, but like similar health pool and amount of damage. But I think Diablo is actually in a pretty good state right now. But if they like revamp his talents, I think it'd be exciting.
Thing is, though, they could make him worse.
They could make him worse.
You never know.
I like him how he is right now. I feel like he's still pretty Lord of Terror. I mean, like, except for giving him the exact abilities that they have in Diablo. But I digress. Let's not talk about my favorite hero of all time.
Yeah, let's not.
Okay. Yeah. We talked about the community awards. We talked about
The community awards, the ones that we won. Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, those community awards? Do we want to talk about
actually
them?
we didn't do the full rundown, so we
award-winning
can do the full rundown as to what the results actually were and
The results.
okay.
He's talking about a cast.
I already know what the results are. We won. That's it. Boom. Done.
Wow.
Next.
All right, just looking at it very quickly. Krendor, Kaldor, Grubby, Neo, and myself, or I guess Liquid would probably be his name. Thank you everyone for voting for me once again. Very cool. Most educational went to Kaldor, and then Grubby, Zuna, ZP, Dunk, and then for the shows. What is that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
All heroes.
I feel
Stormcast.
like this is just gonna backfire on me, but I want to do it anyway.
Yeah, I want you to do it too.
Can we talk about Kaldor winning most educational stream over a bunch of pro players who stream every single day, who know a million times more about the game than Kaldor? Can we talk about that, please? Because Kaldor, he has his YouTube channel, he does interpretable videos, and he does reach out to the masses and brings the newer crowd into Heroes, which is awesome. And he deserves to win favorite streamer for that. But most educational, Kaldor does not teach about Heroes of the Storm.
What? He has like tons of videos that he does for
On YouTube, not for Twitch. He doesn't stream,
That's true.
here's how you play Vala.
Yeah.
Whereas Zuna several times has broken down Heroes and done an entire stream
You're right.
showing you how to play a hero.
But that's community vote, and
Why was he there? He didn't need to be there. A player deserved to win that. Now, it's a very rough line to watch because Kaldor does teach people that are like when he casts tournaments, but he's not the most educational. Zuna.
I thought Zuna should have won. When it boils down to it, a lot of this is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to
popularity
the votes, a lot of it comes down to that.
Except for the town hall winning part, because.
Oh, clearly we're an exception.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like Kaldor does great stuff for the community. I don't want to take that away from him, but I feel that part should have been left to players only.
Well,
but
I don't know about that because
I actually think what
Wait,
Kaldor does.
wait, is Winter the guy that just got in trouble?
Huh?
yeah, Winter.
He's the number 2 favorite individual streamer on this list.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I mean that was 2014, so who knows? I mean, what he was doing back then, and
Yeah, let's talk about actually Krendor one too. I've never seen Krendor stream Heroes. Have you
He's been streaming a lot lately.
Throughout
Lately, but what
2014.
about 2014? Yeah.
I think he streams late night,
Oh no, I'm usually up then.
or maybe it's early
usually
day.
live,
I don't know. Obviously, he streams because he's on the list.
I guess.
I don't know, but he's a WoW guy when it boils down to it. Like I said, it's a popularity contest in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, because I don't know. I just thought it was weird.
All right, well, moving on to other things. We can talk about ESL, because now we actually know the 4 teams that will be competing in ESL. And this is actually, we should have had this in our eSports discussion, but, well, rip me. And I think this is roughly up to date. Yeah, this is roughly up to date as to what we're going to be looking at in terms of teams. So basically, the only thing that's not up to date here is Maelstrom defeated Murlocs convincingly last night. So Maelstrom will advance with a 4-3 finish, and then Murlocs, EG, Lunatic, Synapsis will all go to relegation. Synexis is no longer a team, so they won't be in relegation, I suppose. And we're looking at the other 4 teams. Is this any surprise? Did you guys expect this to look any different? Pretty much assumed.
Okay, from what perspective? At the beginning, the beginning of the league.
I did not expect Tuark to be
Yes,
there.
I think
That is for
we
sure.
can all say that we are surprised with Tuark's performance. Not to say that they are lucky to have gotten there. They have been playing incredibly well, and kudos to them for stepping their game up and right now finding themselves in that second seed.
Yeah.
We would have known Murlocs was going to go ripperoni and cheese with 18 roster changes throughout the season, then we might not. But I think everyone expecting the top 4 to be Maelstrom, Barrel Boys, Tempo Storm, and Murlocs going in initially.
Once Murlocs lost Atlanta, it was just downhill. They were just on a slow decline.
There's just so many roster changes. It actually blew my mind.
Yeah. Who knows? Hopefully they figure it out. A lot of talented guys on that team.
Well, wait, which guys of which team are we talking about here?
Murlocs.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, you're saying there's a lot of talented guys on that team. There's just a lot of people on that team.
Damn. Fact. So, but that's going to be the 4 teams playing in the playoffs. Barrel Boys, 2ARC, Tempo Storm, and Maelstrom. Of course, Barrel Boys, 2ARC, and Tempo Storm all have matches tomorrow night.
Yes.
But that will
Barrel
just...
Boys are going to be playing against 2ARC, which should be very exciting, and that will determine the number 1 seed. Tempo Storm, I think, can still get 2nd seed.
It's possible.
Or if Tempo Storm 2-0s their games
It's
and
Lunatic,
2ARC
right?
loses, I believe, yes, Tempo Storm is playing against Lunatic.
With my wonderful ESL friends here, like to explain to Tempo Storm's coach, manager, and player what the playoffs format is, because I don't know.
As far as I know, it is going to be a 4-man double elim bracket, best of 5.
Best of 5.
And then it's going to be a reset situation for grand finals.
So it won't be...
There's a losers bracket, so...
I don't think it's like round robin. I think it's...
as far as I understand it, we're playing the first 2 games Friday, or the first, like, the round 1 of winners.
So no extended
Friday.
series for the finals, no matter what happens?
I think it's a reset.
I would think it is a reset. I will double check with Matt, and he'll...
We will get all that ironed out before the next week's show and let you guys know for sure. Don't want to say the wrong information, and we're not going to read it up at this moment.
Either way, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
It will
it's going to be hype.
Yeah, I've been hyping it up a ton because of how well all 4 of these teams have been playing. And it's just we've already seen some amazing matches between these guys, and tomorrow will be no exception, I'm sure. And then going into the playoffs, who knows? Maybe we'll get some of the most exciting heroes we've seen yet, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm going to prepare some extra information for next week's show. We'll have like an actual like pre-show for the playoffs. It'll just be kind of like a quick segment here in Town Hall, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. On that note, though, I think we covered all the esports coming up. We got Titan Arena this weekend. That's the big event happening, and I think it is time for that that section we do.
What section?
That section
yeah?
that Jared's facing out on.
Jared, come back to us.
I was looking at a whole milk poll. Sorry, that was whole milk's not winning. It's time for Cooby's questions.
Yes, I'm glad that Glaurung.
Glau, dance more.
He was dancing. Gotta give.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I tweeted out a little bit of a format change. We're also gonna, if we have time, the second half will be a little bit more standard. But we're gonna do a bit of scenario / trivia with a bit of a twist.
Uh-oh.
And the twist here is, I'm gonna read off 3 scenarios, and you guys need to tell me if they're true or false, but privately. So I'm gonna have you guys message me over Skype.
I can't do this for production reasons. I have to use Battle.net. I'll use Battle.net.
Okay, Battle.net's fine. Battle.net's fine. And we're gonna do a little bit of a wager here. All right.
Oh my god.
We have the tip jar, and whoever wins gets 6 points removed from the tip jar. And these points are spread out for the rest of the people on the show. Okay, if Glaurung wins, he gets to choose someone, and we'll say
Zoya, no question.
Don't do this to me, Mike.
So all right, so if it's gonna be Zoya, no question, then that's 6 points for Jared, and we'll maybe the best man win. All right.
Unless, actually, never mind. I'm undecided yet. It might be Zoya.
Okay. All right, so I actually tallied up the points, and this is what I was like blanking out at before the show. Jared is up to 64.
Oh, that is
64 points in the tip jar. I have 3. Kev has 15, and Jake has 23.
that's my lucky number.
Let's remind our
Let's
new
go.
viewers.
Let's go. 3rd place.
Let's remind our newer viewers. Can you explain what the tip jar?
So we wanted to be as PC as possible, politically correct as possible, because we wanted to make Town Hall Heroes family friendly.
So
we
esports.
failed at that because we have Zoya on the show.
That's actually a fact.
He had one episode where he had 9.
But we
9
tried.
points.
Yeah, we tried to. Yeah, I remember that episode too. I remember he was just like, "Here's the tip jar," and then just started going. So we wanted to be as PC as possible, and we did pretty well. But we wanted to make some sort of punishment for if you did curse. So we have a tip jar up. Jared, you're gonna have to pay up soon, man. I mean, it's been like a year. You can just go buy those $20 BNet gift cards and just give 3 out to like random viewers. I think that'd be a pretty cool raffle we could do. But yeah, so that's why there's a tip jar every time you curse. Every time you curse, goes in the tip jar.
You said 63 for me.
64.
I'm
happy
out
with
of one of them.
I'm happy with myself, man. That's
Giving back.
I'm giving back to the community, and I've been pretty good lately. I feel
you've gotten a lot better.
I think that's mainly from like the first
20 episodes,
6 months of shit.
On it, yes, I was going backwards as I was counting through it, and I just have like a notepad file, and I was going through. I'm like, I remember Jared having way more, and then I got to like episodes like 10 through 5, and I was like, oh. It was just like 7, 9, 13. I was like, okay, he went in there. That is precisely the moment.
That's where Zoya went in.
That's it. So we're gonna put a little wager on these points, and we'll see how you guys do. All right. So here are the 3 scenarios, and they're weird situations. So this is testing you guys' game knowledge in just like a split situation. Do you make the right call?
So whoa. What if we think you think the right call is what you think is the right call is wrong? Is there like an overruling the questionnaire?
Yeah, for the most part, these are just math.
Oh.
So like I hopefully did the math out properly ahead of time. So it's like I actually just calculated the numbers to see what the actual.
Did you collude with the engineer on this one? Because that is unfair.
Nope.
He is an engineer.
Okay. Whoa. The other stipulation. Before I get into this, everyone has to have their hands visible. Somewhere on their webcam so that I can just make sure that you guys aren't like.
This makes what I was doing with my hands way more.
So much worse. No. All right.
What was that, Zoya?
How are we supposed to type to you?
What was that, Zoya? Yo, add another one.
I will make the call and say, okay, you guys can type me your answers, and that will be it. I'll be watching you
I
guys.
was to say, how are we supposed to?
Okay. It's just all. I'll be taking care of the reffing. Don't you worry about that. All right. All right. Here are the 3 situations. First one. And you guys can ask questions about this before we get into answering. All right, Diablo versus ETC in Mouth. Okay, so it's a 1v2 situation. ETC has 1 HP. Okay, Mouth has only enough mana to cast Tranquility, and he has Healing Ward available. Okay, ETC has.
Question.
No, hold on. It was a question.
Just kidding.
Diablo.
You need to create replay files for this. I can't think about all this.
You just pay attention. I know it was difficult for you. You just pay attention, okay? All right? All right, so Diablo casts Lightning Breath, and Tranquility is going off to just assume that all of these things hit at the same time. The statement that I am making is that Diablo cannot kill ETC.
A train was leaving Indiana at 3
okay, all right, yeah.
These are the questions I didn't answer in
How about
school.
this, Corey? Does ETC have the increased heal on his E? Does he have mana for it?
Does he have Stone Skin?
Okay,
Does he have Stone Skin?
If you're talking about groupies, that only affects your team.
Okay. Then never mind.
But, yes, he does have mana to cast Guitar Solo, if that's what you're asking.
Yes. Does he have Stone Skin?
No.
What level?
Level 10.
Oh, that changes it a lot, actually.
Okay, so you don't converse between each other. Just if you guys have any other questions about that particular scenario, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Can you start it over?
Yes, I can start it over. ETC has 1 HP. Mouth only has enough mana to cast Tranquility, and he has Healing Ward off cooldown. Diablo casts Lightning Breath. ETC is forced to stand in the Lightning Breath for the entire duration. My statement is Diablo cannot kill ETC with the Lightning Breath. And you just need to tell me if it's true or false. I need to see your hands, by the way. Thanks.
I was typing to you, so you can
go
away.
I want your answers at the end, all right?
Oh, I already told you my answer.
Okay, that's fine. No, I'm not going to look at it. Don't worry about it, okay? Hands, though,
well,
yes.
I'm going to change that if I change my mind later.
Okay. All right, so second question.
All right, second question is, this is a new scenario. It's completely unrelated to the first one. Murky versus Nova. All right, Murky gets the jump on Nova and uses his safety bubble to get in, and he is allowed to, I'll just say, like, initiate the fight on his own terms, right? And this is at level 16. He has Octograb. And my statement is that he is able to kill her before she can kill him. This might pose some questions.
Depends.
So he approaches with
I can't say
bubble.
anything.
Uses safety bubble to get in. Okay. And he gets to start the initiation. He has Octograb. And my statement is that Murky can kill Nova before she can retaliate.
Okay.
Okay.
All right? We okay
What
with that?
talent choices does the Murky have? Is like my biggest question. Because at 16, you could have blood for blood. You could have Envenom.
Yes, I'll actually leave that up to you guys to make that decision. I calculated all the scenarios out and determine what the maximum amount of damage is. All right? We good with this one?
This is why you were doing work before the show and you wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of work.
I thought Cooby was mad at me.
All right, are we good with that one? Can we move
Yeah.
on to number 3? Number 3. Asmodan versus Nova/Vala because they have the same health pool. Asmodan flawlessly farms 2 lanes of Dragonshire for 20 straight minutes. Okay?
Oh my
He has taste for blood. Okay? Both teams are at level 19. A black-pooled globe can one-shot Vala. That is my statement. Is that true or false?
Okay, I'm ready to answer all 3.
Okay, you
Me
guys.
too.
You guys can send me your answers right now, and I will tally up the results. Okay, I have Jake's answers.
Oh, I'm turning on the questions. Oh, I'm not gonna phrase that better.
You just put true or false. There's no phrasing.
It's TF. Or that's it. It's T or F.
You think you're writing it like an educational answer? Like, I believe
remember which part
that
of the
Vala
question was
would
true or
survive
false.
because.
All right. So,
I got the thumbs up from Dreadnought. My answers are good enough.
You cheated.
No. Oh.
Well, he doesn't have any points to spare anyway. Manic has the correct answer. All of my correct answers. They're all Diablo.
and okay. All right. The results are in, and Jared has won.
I
What?
got all 3 right.
You did get all 3 correct.
I knew
Are
it.
they all false?
I'm that good.
No,
They're
they're
all
not.
true.
All
They're
true?
all-
Wait,
everyone
no,
lives.
that's not how you answered.
No?
You said ETC lives. That is
Yeah.
true. You said Nova lives. My statement was that Murky kills her.
Oh,
So that's false. But you
Okay.
answered Nova lives, and Vala does live.
damn.
All of
Damn.
these answers come down to like 30
Oh,
HP.
I got the last one right.
Okay, so Nova lives
You're
with
wrong.
35 HP. Vala
I'm a
lives
Murky
with
main.
like
I should
20
know that.
HP or something like that in ETC. Just the way that the DOT and healing
So
work out.
obscure.
No damage is actually he ends up healing.
Do I still not lose? I don't care if I win. I just don't. want to
So
not
here's
have points.
here's what happens. We deduct 6 points from your total. So now you're down to 58, and you can we'll just say that you redistribute those however you like to other members of the team.
Wait, what?
That's how it works.
That's the rules.
Jared,
Oh,
I'm so
so Jared,
sorry
you're down
about
to
everything
58.
I've ever done to you.
Well, Glaurung is immune.
Yeah,
so-
Glaurung is immune. He's not part of the tip jar.
Let's see here.
Jared. Remember.
Kevin
what
gets 1
Matt-
for talking.
Okay, you have 5 more to spend.
Kevin gets 1. There's one total so far. Jake gets 2 for wearing a Team Liquid shirt, not a Tempo Storm 1.
Okay. You have
Corey gets 2 because that was really hard and it was basically a guess. It's like half calculated. And I will take 1 back for getting 1
Wow.
wrong.
so
What a
many.
guy. I would have dumped them all on Cooby for that terrible
I
question.
thought about it. I thought about just
I would
dumping
have
them all
taken
on
them gladly.
Cooby. I thought about
I
just
would have
dumping
taken them gladly.
Okay, so I got 2
Yes.
right and 1 wrong, so did everyone else just completely
No, you got them
fail?
all right. You got them all right.
Oh.
I just said true because it's how I answered tests in high school.
Oh.
You guys
Wait,
have any
wait,
questions about the scenarios?
Wait, did Kubi just get a
Yeah,
point?
all right. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Because
Thanks, Kev.
in the second scenario, because Murky used his bubble first is the only reason Nova lives, right? If you
Yeah.
have-
I
if you
actually
successfully
I
avoid
ran these
snipe-
by someone else, and they were like, "Well, he can use the bubble to like dodge the snipe and then get another slime
Yeah.
off," and so that's why I wanted to make that clarification.
Because if you dodge a snipe, have a pufferfish, and venom blood for blood, and Octograb go off, I think Nova dies.
Actually, I did the math out, and Blood for Blood does less damage against Nova. It's a couple heroes. There are a few heroes that fall into that like threshold where she doesn't have a high enough health pool for that 15% to
sense.
overdo more damage than a consecutive slime. So.
Okay, that's cool then.
All right.
This
Any
is
other
why
questions?
Cooby is a godlike analyst. He has all these like stupid little stats in his head. It's impressive.
All right.
Tempo Storm
That's why I
won
keep you
3
around.
Tournaments this weekend. Then we won the community show. Then I won this. I'm just like, I'm on a win streak, baby.
You know, Jared, that this just means that you're gonna have a really hard fall very soon.
Wow.
Damn.
You're gonna get knocked
Okay,
out. Round
I
of
have it.
32
Round of 32.
All right, so I have,
by
a
the
second
rising taquitos.
I have a second more standard.
Well, hold on. Can we
discussion.
give 2 points toward the person that got the most wrong? Because I like
most?
calling. Yeah, who
most
got?
wrong?
Who
Well,
was the?
if-
Who
okay.
failed at this the
The
hardest?
question is who, if anyone agrees to this, what's the vote between the? Do we all agree to this? Because you can't just make this decision. You've already
Kevin
pitched your
Jakes.
points up.
I don't care. I already said what I said.
What's your
That,
vote
that
for
makes
this?
Cooby immune though. So Cooby, you
I already
vote.
announced what I voted.
That's hard though, because Jake answered all true, and it was true, false, false,
It was
True, false, false. Yes.
and I got true, false, true. So we both have 1 point. We both got 1 question wrong, so that's now tied.
Rip.
And
rock, paper,
Cooby doesn't
scissors.
count.
All right.
And so it's just either me or Jake. So I guess we could distribute it 1 each. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So
Oh, just give him the
Jake,
Cooby for doing
Jake,
the hard
let's
question.
let's go against this motion to put 1 point on ourselves. And
Sounds
we
good.
hit stalemate. Bam.
Stalemate. Wrecked.
All right.
Wrecked.
That's fine.
Get out.
Right.
Okay.
Get
second
out.
Part. If we do, we want to continue?
Yeah.
These questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
All right,
that was
all right,
good. I
We got
like
time.
Okay. We're just changing pace a little bit. We're going more to the traditional discussion
Ooh.
style
that.
of things.
Oh.
But so we're going to talk about the power of silence. Get it?
The dream.
We all got silent. We all got silent.
I'm just feeling Kev's role. Sorry, guys. I have to do it contractually.
Contractually.
All right. So up until this point in the game, we've had 2 silences so far. One of them was a part of Illidan's
Illidan.
kit way long ago,
Ancient
and that
history.
was like off of a 6-second cooldown with his. It was ridiculous. It was promptly removed from the game. And then the other one, of course, being the AOE on
Twilight
Dream
Dream.
for Malfurion. Right, which is, you guys know how that works. It's very difficult to get Malfurion into that spot. So obviously Blizzard highly values silence. The rest of the community very much understands that it is going to be a very impactful ability to be on Sylvanas. So I want to hear everyone's thoughts on how Blizzard should handle silence moving forward. The 3 things is, should silences be reserved for heroics only? How many major silences should be available to draft at any given point? So moving forward, once we have Sylvanas in the game, there'll be 2 silences available to a team, but they could both be banned out. Should that remain the same? Like maybe when the hero pool gets larger and there's multiple bans, should they try to keep that number in line, etc.? And if silences tend to go to be a more common thing to be put into the game, do we want to see like auto attacks being balanced a little bit more, or do you guys think that they'll just like get more commonly picked because silence might end up reigning supreme?
I don't think silence should ever be a common thing or never off of a heroic. Silences, they take your hero away from you essentially, and that is very unfun. Lose like if it's a consistent thing where it's like on someone's queue where every 16 seconds you're getting silence, that just becomes an unfun thing to play against.
Well, it's disgusting. And
No matter
unless,
how balanced it is,
What if it's an easy to dodge skill shot?
I think it still has to be on heroic. I think like
Okay.
a silence is so powerful, even if it's down to 1 second. That 1 second, like, know how many close ancestrals we see,
yeah.
and if there's just a constant 1 second silence that can be on Rhaegar at any second, that 1 second can be the difference. It's just if it's too consistent and it's like everywhere, I think that just becomes unfun.
I can't argue. I'm kind of okay with it being talented on something that has a longer cooldown. So if, it's like a 13-second cooldown attack and you can spec like a 1 second silence onto it, I'm okay with that. But it definitely can't be something that you can spam. Like the Illidan that we had in the past, no,
Yeah,
not
that
never
was a-
again. Trend sighting.
I personally think blood for blood should silence the opponent for 1.5 seconds.
What? What? Get out!
You can't make these statements.
Oh, man. No, I think silences are interesting. Like, they can be very unfun to play against for sure. But I kind of agree with Jared. Keeping them on ultimates would probably be ideal.
I don't see a big issue with having them on minor abilities, basic abilities, as long as they're like super short or something like that. You know, you don't want to have something that's gonna be like a 3-second silence on your Q. Like that's no.
Yeah, that's that game design.
But I don't think being only on heroics is also gonna be too great either, because then you want to make a silence that's gonna be very impactful, like a 3-second silence on mouth. So I feel like smaller silences are not that bad. They still promote counterplay, because even though you're silenced doesn't mean you're gonna die. Like it's not like a stun. Stun, you know. And somebody brought up in chat, why is silence not okay but stun is?
Yeah, that's true.
Because silence, you can still at least dodge things. You can still move. You can still auto attack. You still do a lot of things. But
it just needs to be a similar cooldown to a stun, and they need to differentiate it from a stun.
Technically, it's less impactful than a stun, right?
Right,
so
but
you have to balance it against that. How often can Hammer of Justice be thrown down, and at what range? And should it be a skill shot versus just a clickable thing? These are all things
that's
that
what I'm trying to say. Like a stun is typically has that oomph to it, like where it's in your face. Like a lot of the times they're melee, like the Pulverize or even just Uther's Hammer or whatever, even the Lunar Flare. But I feel like a silence needs to seem a little bit more nimble. Whether it's like maybe Nazebo gets like a dart that every 5 auto attacks silences for like half a second or something. Like I don't know. That's cute and different. But if it's just like the same concept as a stun, why not just make it a stun?
Yeah, like from a competitive level, I'm okay. Like I just want to go back to, because I don't remember silences being in other MOBAs I played. That might have been in League. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's tons of silences in League.
Is there?
Yeah, LeBlanc.
Soraka.
I know. Yeah, Soraka on her E.
Okay. I am bad at that game. I just
Yeah,
all I reference is Legal, or not Legal, Illidan when he first came out. That was
Dota,
just,
there's tons of silences. It makes that really awful noise.
I don't play MOBAs. I play StarCraft.
Okay, can we just talk about that one guy in Dota that goes silence and he silenced the entire map? That's awesome. Or is it darkness?
That's awesome.
I've probably butchered it. I think it's darkness and he makes everything dark. I could be wrong either way.
I just see like Illidan when he first had that silence was very frustrating for newer players, because just like you're constantly just like having to deal with Illidan and then silences at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I think of it being on like a generic spammable ability, that's the first thing I think of is like that outcry that came from Illidan with all his silences.
Yeah.
So I don't mean from a competitive level, like as long as it's tuned right, a silence should be fine. Like as long as you can put a 1-second silence on a
Well, I mean,
or
the outcry that came from Illidan was because Illidan's metamorphosis was like 5 billion health, and then you had like Abathur metamorphoses with 5 billion plus 5 billion health, and they all silenced everything really quickly for a really long time, and it happened very, very often. So that's why Illidan was, they got rid of that silence, because that was ridiculous. Yeah, there's literally a character called Silencer.
That's the Dota character. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't play Dota.
I haven't played League in a while, so apparently LeBlanc has been taken away from her silence, which sucks.
Rip.
But anyway, yeah, I don't really mind that much silences. I think they're better than stuns, because stuns you just get frozen, and you're just like, well, that sucks. Silences you're at least, well, I can at least run away now.
But I just, again, I think it needs to have something that differentiates.
Yeah, it needs to be very
it's
easy.
got a little. It's gonna have the little like.
That's not graphically, but just
what?
Thematically.
What do you mean thematically?
I feel like silences should be a little bit easier to execute, but maybe be like a fast, quick skill shot. Like you put a silence on Nova's snipe or something as more like an attribute to an ability. I like that.
Yo, guys, here's a crazy thought. All right, let's just get
Ready.
Yo, can you silence Protoss people? They don't have mounts. What are you gonna silence?
You can silence their brains. You can silence Nova's gun, so clearly.
Like, well, I win.
They ain't got mounts. Can't silence them.
Dad jokes are real. He can't make puns, so he's digging hard. He's digging deep.
It's referring to dad jokes. Dad joke status activate.
What are your thoughts on silence?
What are my thoughts on silence? Like, everyone's made good points. I personally, like, the past 5 minutes have just been like thinking and to see if there's any interaction where a silence would be like more useful than a stun, and it's interesting because when you think about silences, you think about increased duration, like disruption. Like Malfurion silence lasts longer than majority of the stuns in the game, for example, and I think that's what in the end differentiates the two. Because I was like trying to think if there's any interaction where a silence doesn't do the same thing as a stun, except for you can move when you're silenced. Because like Tacidar's, like I forget what it's called, but his level 13 talent where it automatically activates will neither go off if he's silenced or stunned when he dies. And I'm just like thinking about interactions like that, and I can't think of a single one where a silence would be better or do more than a stun. So I just think how we should differentiate the two is we leave silences on heroics and we increase the amount of time that it's on you. Like a 3-second silence, for example, on a heroic would be different than like a 1-2 second stun on an ultimate. Like Divine Storm and Twilight Dream, what's the difference between the two? Silence lasts longer and they can move away during the duration.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think silence is on basic abilities would just kind of be boring, I guess. Like if you were to say every 5 auto attacks on a Zebo, like that's a really cool idea, but it's like the same thing as like Muradin every 3 seconds on an auto attack with that
Good
talent,
point.
you get a stun. It's hard to say for sure though, because there are so few silences and not really many good examples in this game of how they're used. Right now, the only way you can use it is through Malfurion.
Yeah, he's the only silence in the game.
Soon to be Sylvanas, and we're going to see how impactful that is. But like you mentioned, though, you're right. Duration. That's the difference. That's why the impact is so profound. Because if you do silence that Rhaegar for 3 seconds, 3 seconds turns into an eternity in those kind of situations.
And yeah, like, it goes back to weird balance questions. Like you know, if you look at Uther Z, he's a 1 second stun, and that is very easy to balance. You know, just you change the cooldown of it. But how do you go about balancing, you know, a silence? Do you keep the duration small, and how does that equal to the stun?
Yep.
You know, it would have to be, if it's on a short duration, it would have to be a shorter cooldown, which is just constant spamming of that ability, which becomes unfun.
I want Jaina to have brain freeze now. God.
I just had a crazy idea. What if they introduced a warrior in the future who had a heroic that was similar to Mouse, but it silenced everyone?
Including your allies?
Yes.
That would be so badass.
It'd be cool, right?
Pardon my language.
But how do you balance around that? That'd be pretty interesting.
The amount of, what's the word for this?
Variability.
The amount of BM you could do towards your own team.
Yeah.
For quick match.
Kev's like, if I can zombie wall my teammates, what else can I do with it?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
That's a good
you can block most of a gate if you're a Murky putting down an egg right in front of the gate. That makes
And then you
people
stand, like, on
in
the
quick
other
match really upset.
Kev masters these.
Good. Very good. I'm
so-
happy for you.
Yeah, he's really
I
good at
want to end Cooby's questions because we just got hit with 2 bits of news, and
That's
I don't
fine,
know if you
we're done.
guys.
We are done.
No,
The
what?
first one is Murlocs Inc. has just officially disbanded.
I called that before the show.
Nobody really saw that as a surprise.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
I guess that's why they canceled scrims today.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I called it. I heard they canceled scrims. I was like, they're done.
Yeah.
After their
Talking
games last
about that
night,
a
they
little
didn't
bit.
look good. Spanker wasn't there. They've had so many roster changes. They've been on a bit of a decline. Like we said, there's a lot of talented guys there, but the ship, like whoever was at the helm, was not steering straight.
So can we successfully say that they
Kev, don't do
disbanded?
it. Wait.
What?
Did I
The
miss
anti-joke. Bam.
What's the other bit of news? What's the other bit of news, you dork?
Oh, the other bit of news is that Winter Gaming has been found innocent of Viewbotting
Whoa.
by Twitch.
Yo, Nick
Post
just
link.
got wrecked.
What?
That was at least for the 2014. Blizzard worked with Twitch in order to determine whether or not he deserved the awards for StarCraft. And they said, unlike the community voted categories most active chat and most dedicated viewer are data driven. Due to this, we wanted to ensure the integrity of the statistics provided remained intact. With the assistance of Twitch, we have determined there is no evidence that should exclude or disqualify the Winter Gaming channel from placing in any of the following categories: most active chat, most dedicated viewer.
All right. Good to
I
hear.
didn't expect that.
Good to
I
hear.
cannot wait to see how the StarCraft community reacts, because they have been
that's
really negative so far.
kind of why I didn't really want to say that much on it, because I'm like, okay, Eggy
No, you
and
should too.
Icebox made sense, right? But Winter, I mean,
Cooby.
wait, what did you just say?
You're like, I'm. And I was like, no, you shouldn't do.
See, anti-jokes are really fun.
I hate all of you.
Derailed.
It's an awkward thing to deal with because Twitch wasn't really saying whether or not people were or weren't guilty. But I mean, we already see that Nvidia withdrew sponsorship from Winter before any of this kind of happened, and that's what's really starting to get worrisome here. Is that nobody's kind of, you know,
Where's the fact checking?
if we can make witch hunting this easy, right? And we just start linking a couple of people that are sitting in channels as viewbotting. Who's to be the guy that's going to say that this is false?
Yeah. And there's
I'm not going to say that everybody who's been accused is innocent, and I'm not going to say that everybody who's been deemed innocent is or is not. I mean, who knows? Maybe this doesn't.
Sham2 confirmed Viewbotter and MLG TV.
Whoever says that 2015 maybe he did start viewbotting, we don't know. But for 2014, we've seen that he's. So that's why this whole entire situation kind of caught me as really weird when I started thinking about it. And you know, Hollandus is saying right now they're not in trial. Yeah, they are. This is their livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a lot of people's like
they make a living.
They
Some of
don't
them.
go to work. They sit at home and they stream for a lot of people's entertainment.
And when you talk about losing a sponsorship like Nvidia, like that's actually a massive deal.
That's huge.
And if he, obviously, I can't comment on it because I have no idea what the details are. But
Yeah, exactly. We don't know the details. I mean, I don't like Winter for a lot of reasons. He used to like just make troll accounts and go ham on like little.
what
Brock
StarCraft player didn't
leagues.
do that? If you look at the pro scene, tons of them did that.
I never did that. I mean, I would if I had to redo placements, but I would make it easy for them. I would just 2-rax them every game and just tell them that I was a Masters.
Major.
But, yeah. Major? No.
Competing in all-female tournaments and just under the name Daisy Princess or something like.
Yeah.
So there's also the flip side of it. Like, let's say I really hated Kevin. I just like wanted to take him down. If it was so easy to just be like,
Yeah,
hey,
you're right.
Kevin's got bots on his channel. Let's take his stream down. And Nick does this whole thing. Maybe it is very obvious that he has bots on his channel, but I'm the one buying them just to take them down. It is like Kevin says, it is a very. That's someone's livelihood. That's the sad thing.
And I mean, I'm not saying what Nick's doing is wrong because at the same time, the actual viewbotters are really hurting our scenes.
Right. Nick's
So
cause
it's
is obviously
it's a really
noble.
really weird situation with a lot of gray, and I just want to like point out to a lot of the viewers that, you know, just because somebody brings up what looks like a lot of evidence and everything like that, put the point of doubt in your own mind before, you know, you succumb to one result or the other.
Alrighty.
Real talk
I wanted
with
to say.
Town Hall Heroes.
It is now shoutouts time, and we are going to start with the Lord Zoloff.
Lord Zoloff here, doing shoutouts. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Tempo Zoya, as well as follow Tempo Storm on Twitter. We are the most winningest heroes of the Storm team, here with Mr. Glaurung as our shot caller and warrior player. We released a house tour video, which I am posting in the chat now. You guys can check out our awesome house that all 6 of us will be living in very soon, where we're going to be trying our hardest to make sure we stay on top of the North American hero scenes. And also, that's not the channel we'll be uploading too soon, but just a little teaser video. A lot of the community has been asking for it. We're going to be releasing 2 videos next week on a different YouTube channel. It's Tempo Storm Heroes, but we'll be releasing 2 games where there were scrims versus Vortex, and it has our comms. People have been asking for our comm games. They want to hear what we sound like in our games and how we play out the match, and just see what a competitive level, you know, comm sounds like. And we'll be releasing 2 of those videos sometime next week. So get hyped about that. Well, that's all my shoutouts, man.
Cubus Maximus.
Big thanks to all the viewers that voted for us.
Oh yeah,
And
Arthur Suit Inc.
that's right. So we got some fun things in the pipeline as a result. And Kev's already been working on his. Did a pretty nice job today. Got to give you kudos. And so he's like, I just can't wait to get off the air and I can just throw down 6 puns.
No. You misunderstand me. I am not punning at all.
Well, we got to take your word for that. But for the most
I'm
You
gonna
think-
call up from
you think
reports.
I am a dishonest man, Cooby?
Did I say that?
Hey,
I trust my.
I've got connections at the MLG office. I am gonna put my spies to work.
Listen, I already
It's
put
like
it
I
up
got
on
one
Twitter. The
Twitter
MLG office all knows about it already. All right, that's how we communicate in our office.
That's actually a fact.
So yes, yeah. Thanks to you guys for voting for Town Hall to be #1 podcast for Heroes of the Storm. Much appreciated, and you guys can follow me at the Cooby. We'll be casting tomorrow night with Jake for the final day of ESL NA Major League in the group stage at least, and then coming back the following Friday for the start of the playoffs. Gonna be a
can't
lot
wait.
of fun, and that's over on twitch.tv/ESL_heroes. And that's it for me.
Kevo.
Guys, this weekend is going to be Titan Arena 2. I've said it a billion times. It's going to be hype as hell. And I'm really excited. Production. I'm actually getting off this call as soon as we get done to go call my graphics guy, MLG Rab, who did the graphics for Town Hall Heroes. And we're going to be working on some new graphics for this upcoming Titan Arena.
Tell
Of course, this is not going to be on this broadcasting streaming platform, so we're gonna be somewhere else. So you can always go ahead and check that out on Twitter. It's gonna be mlg.tv/sham2, and actually it's also mlg.tv/Titan Arena. We got that set up today too.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
If
what else?
if Christian needs tips for how to make for graphics for Heroes,
Wow.
send them my way.
Wow!
Christian, of course, taught me pretty much
Yeah.
everything I know when it comes to creating broadcast graphics, so that is very sarcastic.
So anyway, so of course shout outs go to all of our fans. Thanks, guys. And these lovely Town Hall Heroes hosts. Glau, thanks for coming on. And you can follow me at twitter.com/sham2 SCHAMTOO. I am out.
Mr. Michael Fisk in the house of Tempo Storm.
Okay,
It is yours.
so first I'd like to start off by thanking all of you lovely hosts for inviting me last minute on the show. This is my second time on the show and it's been a great experience. It's always fun to participate in these discussions. Aside from that, I'd like to thank all of my sponsors. I'd like to thank first and foremost Tempo Storm because they're letting me live my dream and it's awesome. And then all of the sub-sponsors, we got Funk, we got Namecheap, we got G2A, and we have Twitch. They're all amazing. And I'd like to shout out my teammates. I couldn't be doing this without them. They're awesome. And then a minor shout out, I guess, to my coach/manager. He kind of helps occasionally. But aside from that, you guys can check us out. Just watch a lot of the North American tournaments, and occasionally we'll show up in a European tournament. You guys can watch and support us there. And yeah, that's all my shout outs. Oh, I guess you can follow me on Twitter too, at Temple Glaurung. And that's it for me. Thank you for having me on the show.
Is Wade there?
Wade is doing laundry, I think. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear him,
Yeah, I heard it, yo.
but
You stream every night now. Plug that.
There he is.
oh yeah, I do stream almost every night.
Wade, say hi.
Catch me there playing games, listening to music. And that's
What
it
I'm
for me.
impressed about is that he's still wearing a collared shirt. Like he's working or living in a game house and everything, and probably nobody's gonna see him today, but he's still wearing a collared shirt.
So professional.
Wadles gets
I went
ladles.
to an office today and I didn't even wear a collared shirt.
Hey, man.
Glaurung, kudos. Some nice shout outs. I think you hit every boat. Nicely done.
Even the longboat,
Even
because they got nerfed.
that's a stretch, Jake. But all right, Jake, what do you got for us?
Oh, guys, thank you so much for voting for us. It's an honor. I can't thank you enough, and thank you for everyone that voted for me, the individual streamer. Constantly stepping it up with my new content. Daily Quest got ruined today by Twitch getting destroyed, but there's nothing they can do about that because tons of shows got destroyed that are much more impactful than my show, so I'm not actually complaining. So I owe you guys a Zagara video. definitely encourage you guys to check out the daily quests, especially if you're just getting into Heroes of the Storm. If you have friends that are getting into the game, that is the point of the show. It's supposed to be very educational, very down to earth, and very, teach builds and just hyper informative. So check that out. Thanks for the vote. And since you guys got me in that top 5, well, I'm going to be streaming a lot more. Have a few new shows coming in. I've got the nerdiest idea. It's going to be the Morning Hearth, the Daily Quest, and the Nightly Watch. Hearthstone Heroes and Overwatch, respectively. We'll see if that ever actually happens. That's the idea. I want to start streaming a minimum of 6 to 8 hours a day, and I'm getting better at that, making this a career slowly. ESL, big stuff. Casting Titan Arena with Kev this weekend. So big tournament this weekend, a big tournament next weekend, lots of competitive action moving forward, and then Heroes of the Dorm happening next month. We're growing, boys. All you that have been with us for the long time and all our new viewers, we love all of you. And I guess the cat
What's
changing.
Your funny Wednesday? What's your funny Wednesday?
It was supposed to be like a crazy Zagara like Crete build, but
no, for the next week. Like, what are people supposed to be submitting to you?
I want it to be Sylvanas related if I can, but we'll see. I haven't announced it yet.
Rip.
So you can send me suggestions for Wonky Wednesday if you guys want crazy stuff. But I think that will do it. Cooby is dancing with the kitty dance. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching.
What you were way too
Shem
far.